and the topic is free up ganja prisoners. You know, you know, ganja. You know, you have 2.3 million prisoners here in the U.S. You have, you know, 660,000, you know, ganja arrests a year, that sort of thing. All that while 33 states have legal medical marijuana and 11 have legal, recreational. So definitely in each one of those states, anybody who in jail for ganja, you need to free them up right now. You know, the governor of Illinois, once they passed recreational marijuana, the first thing that he did was he pardoned 11,000 people that were in Illinois prisons for ganja possession. So, you know, it's a longer topic, so I don't want to get all into it right now. But
I just want to talk about that real quick. Matter of fact, the governor of Illinois is the governor who first put out it's the First Step Act, okay,
right,
which actually repealed.
I just want to talk about where to talk about.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Why not?
It actually repealed the Clinton Care Act in 1994, which led to the release of these prisoners. But that's all I want to say on that. I have a lot to speak on that as well.
Well, hey, we're here, man. That's why keep talking. So,
right.
I kind of gave the background and the rationale. There are a lot of people making hundreds of millions of dollars off the legalization of ganja. At the same time, you have people who are buried on a jail. I mean, I came across a story last night about somebody doing a life sentence for selling ganja. Life sentence because it was his third strike, his third felony. And he's literally doing life. What you have murderers and rapists doing 10, 15 years. Here's that man selling ganja and he has a life sentence. It don't make any sense at all.
So let me interject there. So that's brought to the table, like I was saying, in 1994, Bill Clinton passed the, what is it called? The Clinton Crime Bill. And basically that enacted the 3 strikes. So
his name wasn't on there. It's the crime bill. Anyway, go ahead. Yes,
yeah, it was.
Correct.
Well, we know it was him. And I'm glad
Congress passes laws.
People.
Congress passed a whole bunch of black people, a whole bunch of
but
people,
that's how we tag
right.
it. So that brought about the 3 strikes. So after your third felony conviction of your third felony, you would actually be sent to jail, no parole. Go on.
Go on. Continue.
Okay, so you were talking about the governor of Illinois. He enacted what's called the First Step Act. And basically that repealed that legislation. That is a good step in repealing it, but there was one flaw to that. It was not retroactive. So the people that were convicted under that act before 2018, okay, are still in prison and will be in prison.
Straight nonsense.
Totally not fair. Okay, so a person today can make the same act that somebody committed 15 years ago and get a slap on the wrist or probation. And the person that committed that 15 years ago are in prison for life without parole. What? Murderers, okay, get parole. They do a third or fourth of their sentence, okay? And I have a lot to get into because in prison, they call prison correctional facilities. Okay?
Ain't no correction going on.
Ain't no correction going on, man.
Ain't no warrior.
Okay, so in the case of ganja, weed, or cocaine, or I'm going as far as alcohol,
any controlled substance.
Any controlled substance. Some people have an addiction. Okay. The only way to curb that addiction is to get them some type of help. When you go to prison, there is no help. There is no treatment. There's no cognitive intervention. Okay. They basically hold you there for a check. Okay. They treat you like animals. They treat you like okay. Let you back out. You come out on the street. You can't get a job because why? You have a felony on your record. Nobody wants to give you a job. Okay. You can't get proper living because on the application, the first thing it asks, or one of the things it asks, okay, have you been convicted of a felony? Same thing on the job. Okay, so how do you expect people to feed their families, live, and be productive members of society?
They don't.
Impossible.
They don't.
It's
It's
impossible.
meant to
And
be.
the few.
It's meant to be a recycling plant where you go in,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
you get the idea that you're coming out, but you can't stay out because you can't readjust.
Exactly. That's called
They set the system up
recidivism.
in that way that you cannot readjust.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Everything is against you, so it's
Yeah.
difficult for you to
Yeah.
readjust.
And that's no
you
accident.
end up
That's,
right back
that's,
in there.
that's by design.
Yes,
exactly.
that's by design.
It's called recidivism. It's
Yeah,
called recidivism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The rate of recidivism, I think, is at 40%.
Mhm.
So the probability that somebody goes to jail and will commit the same crime is 40. That's outrageous. There is no rehabilitation in jail. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, and you know, we can't, you know, the racial component of this, as it is with everything, is overwhelming, slanted, right? So say that I'll get to crime bill here in a second, and as messed up as that was in many ways, but when you talk about so statistically, black people and white people use ganja at about the same rate, all right? But from an arrest standpoint, black people are 6 times more likely to be arrested for it than white people, right? We talk, you know, the crack versus powder cocaine. That's one thing. Also, if you remember, you know, when I hear about the crime bill, you know, I remember what was going on in the country at that time. You know, it was a madhouse. I mean, it was, you know, people selling crack all over, murders, you know, bodies all over the place, and so, you know, nowadays, you know, it looks, in retrospect, it looks really bad, because a lot of people have been imprisoned because of it. But they were addressing a certain issue, and the way they addressed it, and so a lot of black legislators and community leaders actually advocated for the crime bill. But you know, if you look at how the way they treated that, by, you know, harsh sentences and all that, versus how they treat like the, you know, OxyContin, all that stuff nowadays. Now they're talking about treatment, because it's a different class of people. A different race. I mean, that's a class. Different race of people have those issues. You know, so race is all over everything in the society. You know, so.
Well, one of the things to piggyback on what Chris was saying, you see, people don't understand that addiction is a disease, right? It's something you cannot control after you really get infected, because you literally get infected when you become addicted. You cannot control the desire you have. Just like you get ill, you cannot control it. It's out of your control. But they don't treat it in our culture, or our skin culture, our living culture, like it's a disease.
Yeah.
You're a criminal when you use it with our skin color, but anybody else uses it like that, oh, it's an illness.
The epidemic.
Yeah, so
epidemic.
I mean, that's an issue regarding drug use in general, right? But you know, with this focusing primarily on ganja, it's not an addictive substance, right? It's chemically less addictive than
it is
alcohol.
less, but you become addicted.
No. Hold on. Listen. It's chemically less addictive than alcohol, nicotine, and caffeine. So it's not an addictive substance. It's
I can stop anytime I'm ready.
People think that. But you're not addicted if you can't stop anytime you're ready. You're not addicted.
Anyway, I mean, you know, I'm not that. Anyway, that's my business.
A lot of people might think that Chris is an alcoholic. But he's not. He can't stop anytime he feel like, right?
Nobody thinks that.
See him there all a drink all right now. Him literally at work right now and a drink.
You don't know what's in my glass. What's in my cup stays in my cup. Yeah, you know, so as we, you know, kind of wrap up this subject here, just from a money standpoint, and, you know, basically I think it's good. The reason, all right, so an example, Colorado, when they legalized ganja about 3-4 years ago, they made $247 million in tax revenue, right? So it is a moneymaker. However, imprisoning people for ganja is also a moneymaker. You know,
And that
so
is
they're
why
going
it will
to-
never stop.
They're going
It
to
will
wait
never stop.
like that. Hey, things are trending. Like, look, 33 states, it's there for medical use. But hey, people are, let's sit around and watch Colorado make all the money. You know, there are billions of dollars that can be made. You know, so, but you know, the point overall that I want to, regardless of what they decide to do, my main point in all of this is, if you're going to legalize it in certain places and enable people to come in to make these, you know, millions of dollars off a product for which you have millions of people in jail for, not millions, hundreds of thousands of people in jail for, then a factor in when you pass these laws is you have to free anybody who is in jail on a possession charge, right? At least possession. You know, distribution, yeah, we can decide exactly who, but it's not right. And so big up the Illinois governor for at least doing that, realize that this is not fair. So we're going to free everybody who is in jail on a possession charge, but this needs to happen everywhere, where every state where there is legal ganja, free up the prisons. It doesn't make any sense, right? You know, it messes up people's life, messes up people's families, you know. So anyway, that's a
synopsis
episode, but hey, it was there. And you can't talk about Bush without talking about ganja, you know. So anyway.
Quick,